So good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for attending. We'll now start the webinar. So this webinar will be recorded. Please mute your microphone during the presentation. You will be able to ask your question in either French or English after the presentation. So this is the first session of the Inspiration series. Just a few words about Women in Business New Brunswick. So we are a non-profit organization that supports women entrepreneurs across the province. I'm Claire Efestion, the development officer in charge of export and international trade, and I'm here to help you with your export projects. Whenever you are in the startup, expansion, or export phase, feel free to reach us and we will be happy to assist you. I'm very glad today to introduce Manon Pilon, the founding president of Derm & Co. She leads the research and development of Laboratoire Nelly de Wust, Laboratoire Druid, and Eurolab Laboratories, one of the largest manufacturers of organic skincare and personal care products certified by EcoCert Green Life. So Manon, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure. I've always been, for the last 35 or 38 years, motivated to encourage women in business. So it's always a pleasure. So I thought I prepared a small presentation for you to give you a little bit of how it's all started and where really I come from, just a little bit of feedback. So basically, Derm & Co. is a company that I founded in 2008, but I want to give you the history where it actually starts. So first of all, my mother obliged me, all my friends were having a great time and playing at 7 years of age to sell the garden's tomatoes and cucumbers. So it was at the time, can you imagine, this is how old I am, I was supposed to sell, obliged to sell, not supposed to. I had 2 streets that I was taking care of, and I had to do, for 6 tomatoes at the time was 25 cents, just so to give you a picture. So how much tomatoes I had to sell. And my goals were always set by my father. I had to sell 100 for $100. So sometimes when I would reach $90, he would compensate for 10. So already put in my mind the idea of doing business and developing, my own business. And at the end of the summer, we'd go to the bank and put it on a term deposit. So that was how I started. So I was kind of upset because, of course, all my friends were playing. So sometimes I had to be a little bit entrepreneur too. So what I started to do is invite my friends next door and give them out of the 25 cents, 10 cents if they would do a tour with me. So it was like a strategic, but sometimes I was not arriving, $89 at the end of the summer. Anyway, it's a long story to tell you that it started young and I was not allowed to play, I had to work. Then of course at age 13, just to give you, it'll go fast, but at age 13, my aunt had a decoration store and she would leave me the key for the entire summer and I would have to do the deposit and I had to act like a decorator, selling different paint, and of course wallpaper was very popular at the time, so I was running that business. But I was also obliged, so I didn't really like it. So it came around 15 years of age. I went to my orienteur, I don't know how we say that, the counselor at school, and my mother says, if you're not going to work for the family, you're going to work in the trade. So strict, very strict. So and I didn't miss any other ways because that's the way it was. So I went to see the counselor at school and I said, I want a summer job, but in the beauty field. I don't mind working in Avon, in the manufacturer, in a hairdressing salon. Just find me something that is related to beauty. So she tells me, can you act? I have something for you. She tells me, imagine. She says, can you act and pretend you're an esthetician? I'm like, I didn't even know what it was, an esthetician. She says, there's a spa that is looking for an esthetician. You just act like you're 18-year-old and you maybe have the job. So here I am. I went to, I start to study. Of course, I start looking what is the word esthetician. And thank God the owner of that spa actually was an owner that didn't know anything about the skin. She was just a businesswoman, thank God, because as my interview, I said, oh, you have Cupros, because I found it at the library. Back then we didn't have internet. So I found the word Cupros and I found a few words in the skin. So she was so impressed. She says, nobody told before that I had cuprose. And you're right. I have a lot of sensitivity and I have cuprose. So you have the job. You start tomorrow morning. Imagine. So I didn't sleep all night. I fainted 3 times that summer and I started in the field of aesthetics. So I worked really hard. I was doing a lot of waxing and I studied nonstop because I was so motivated for that trade. But of course, just to give you a small secret, not a secret, but the fact, when 2 days later, I told her the truth that I was not an esthetician because I knew it couldn't last, because she says, go and do a waxing client. And I didn't know even what wax looked like. You know, it's like, this was something else. So I told her, listen, I can't tell you a lie. I am not an esthetician, but I'm so interested. I will study, I will do everything. Please don't give me that opportunity. I will work for free. So can you imagine, at that time, working for free was a big opportunity for a businesswoman. So she hired me, and I said, my mother didn't tell me I had to make money. She told me I had to work. So that was my way out, right? So I went to the study, and of course they hired me as an assistant. I was washing the floors, I was cleaning, I was just an assistant. But eventually they allowed me to do waxing. And I will always remember that at the end of the summer, so I was doing waxing all summer because I start studying. And my first client, I remember that I when I did our eyebrow wax, I removed their entire brow. So half of the brow was gone. Can you imagine? I've learned one thing in business, you make mistakes, you don't do them again. Of course, I didn't sleep, I fainted. I told you I fainted twice. But I was so passionate about that trade and I wanted to know more and more. So I became an expert at the end when you rip off brows like that and do mistakes, rip off skin on the bikini area. Nevertheless, I will pass on that. I studied. Then I was interested about the skin. So I said, it's so many products out there. And of course, what you see here, Nelly Devurst was not in all the products that the spa had. They had 7 European brands. And, I couldn't understand why people were coming at the spa to get a facial. Because basically what it was is kind of a bit of a massage and then extraction of blackheads. I'm like, what is the purpose of an esthetician if they're not really making a transformation of the skin? Why is people paying, at the time was $50 for a facial? Why are they doing this? So I started studying and researching again. And then 2 years after, imagine it took me that long, I discovered this brand called Nelly Devurst. I ran to my boss at the time. And I said, I was young. I said, please, I want to work with this brand. She says, Manon, I don't know this brand. It's from Belgium. I've never heard of this brand before. And it's too expensive. You're going to start learning to like what we have in inventory. Of course, inventory is cash for her. You start to look at that and clients are very happy with that. You go with that. I was so disappointed that I said, okay, what am I going to do? So I wrote to the Laboratoire Nelly Devurst in Belgium, all by letter. Can you imagine? Like everything was handwritten. We had fax, but I didn't own a fax at the time. But it was all by writing. So I wrote to the lab and I said, please, can you find me a place where I could work with the products? Because I kept ordering and spending pays. I couldn't believe the results that this brand was giving me. And I said, I will work for free. I have Monday off. So can you please connect me with a place that carries these products in Canada? So she connected me with the distributor in Canada of Nelly Devurst, so the importer of Canada, and they had a spa. It was called Centre de Beauté Véronique. It was named after their daughter, and they were using exclusively Nelly Devurst. So of course, working for free was great because, my mother, again, didn't ask me for the money part. She just said, go for work. But nevertheless, I start working, so I'm going to go fast now because we're going to spend all day in this meeting. So at age 17, I had the opportunity to purchase the spa. So I was like, this is exciting. So of course, I went to my parents. They didn't want to endorse me. They had the money, but they didn't want to endorse me. So I went to the bank. The bank says, you're too young. And it was a man banker. And he says, it's impossible. So I got refused and I couldn't take a refusal. So another thing I learned in business is never be, when you're thrown down and with a no, don't be discouraged and, take it back and go back to so I went to another bank. And then that other bank was another man. But he said, listen, can't you find yourself a partner that will support you? So I asked one of my clients and I said, please, can you come in business with me and I will pay you, et cetera, et cetera. So it worked, believe it or not. So it was the National Bank that I'm still a National Bank a client today because they gave me that opportunity, of course, with a partner. And then a year and a half, not even, my God, 9 months later, I was able to purchase completely my first spa, and I was 17 years old. So my life became aesthetics, as you can imagine. So I opened 5 spas in Montreal. I had a location, Beaconsfield, Hudson. For some of you that are from the area, in the West Island was mainly my businesses. And I was always endorsing the businesswoman. So there was an association called the Businesswoman Association at the time, today called REFAC, that I joined, and of course made so much relations. And at that time, I think this is 1992, I started the distribution. In 95, I won many awards, Business of the Year. So then I really was passionate about this. And of course, learning about this trade and the opportunity. And I became very focused on education, the skin. I knew the skin because for me, it had to have results. And Nelly Diverse was bringing that to me. And by the way, I had 5 spas and I had so many vendors coming to me trying to sell me other skincare. And I had the choice because I didn't own Nelly Diverse. So that brand I didn't own. So it's like I had the choice, and others were giving me some consignments, like so many business opportunity, and I stuck to Nelly Diverse. I was really so impressed with the results. And that's what I opened in all 5 locations. So I started giving lectures since 1989. I started being invited. I remember I was 18 with my first flight to Toronto. I was invited to give a lecture on the skin. So I was like, oh, this is so exciting. So I started to travel. And of course, then I realized that my spas, I was not getting good estheticians. So I had to go in at the school. And then realizing that even at the school, the education was really poor. So then I started to do teaching, believe it or not. So I worked for the Ministry of Education side. I owned the 5 business, and I started to work for the Ministry of Education and redoing the programs, working at the program, building up a brand new school for the government for aesthetics. So I could handpick the best estheticians that was in those classes. So I was very lucky because I was teaching, so I had so much choices. So that gave me an amazing opportunity. And then, of course, it was limited because of a government limitation. The programs, you cannot just change them like that. So I decided to open up a private school. So believe it or not, in 1995, I opened up my private aesthetic school. And then I was invited, starting to be invited over the world. So I remember my first travel was in California, my second, sorry, at a big trade show of aesthetics. And, I went to see Bob Barker, because what I forgot to tell you is I didn't speak a word of English. So can you imagine, from my first job, I went, when Nelly Diverse told me there's a place in Beaconsfield that you can basically work, they only spoke English. I didn't speak a word. So I was watching the Price is Right, this is an old time ago, to start on TV because I didn't have time to take courses. And I learned my English. So my first travel was in California, and I went to see Bob Barker, and I'm like, I learned my English from you. So I was just, trying to speak so much English and learn. So I was invited by many conference leaders. I became very popular fast because I was so passionate. It sounds like all great and glamorous, but don't forget that I didn't really have a life. I was working from 9 to 9, I would say 7 days a week still. And then I became a medical spa consultant in 1995. I consulted for Les Thermes Marins in Monte Carlo for the Prince of Monaco. So that was my biggest project, but I did so many medical spas and spas, like basically design and structure. So I started to do this. And then in 1992, Madame Nelly Diverse, so I became her, let's say, her right arm when she would come in Canada. So Nelly Diverse is a lady out of Belgium at the time that developed those unique products with dermatologists and biochemists. And she really developed a niche product. And back then, even herself, being an older lady, it was very hard, to come through. But the results were so amazing. So believe it or not, so I was carrying this in the spa, in the school. And then in 1992, Madame Diverse herself calls me and she says, you should buy the agency of Nelly Diverse in Canada for distribution. So import the products, because the agency is for sale. I'm like, oh my God, I'm pregnant for my first child. And I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, this is crazy. I can't do that. I have 5 spa, about 100 employees. I'm like, and I'm teaching and I have the school. Like, this is a bit too much, right? So nevertheless, I asked my husband at the time I met my husband in 1991. I met my husband and I said, listen, if you don't come in the business with me, then I cannot do it. You have to join me. And he was in exotic cars and other types of business. So he said, okay, because I was pregnant. So I said, okay. So we bought the agency for distribution of Nelly Devers. So Nelly Devers back then looked like this, and it was Brussels. Keep that in mind, because that's where I'm going quickly. So I became the R&D director for Nelly Devers Belgium. So I was running the chemists around the world for different research, because for me, it was always about results. If you're not going to get results, I'm not interested. So I was doing a lot of testing. You know, people could talk about clinical trials, but if at the end of the day, you put it on your skin and you don't see results, you know that the clinical trials were maybe wrong. So I was very strong at that. So I was very lucky to be hired by the lab. And then they hired me to represent them for the English territories, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. So it was like, wow. And US for special training. So that was Nelly Devers. So this, I'm so happy because I import them for Canada, and then that happened. Quickly in 1995, so I won many awards. Let's see what they put in there for me. That's it. That's what I basically did. In 2006, to jump a little bit, I will come back after. In 2006, I wrote my first book. Look at the cover. It's really not me. I almost had a lawsuit. Unfortunately, I was so upset with the cover. It's not me. The content was all about body type. Because why is a client's skin with acne has results like this with the same protocol, and why somebody else doesn't have acne with the same protocol, has acne and doesn't have results? So I start to study the body type based on Hippocrates. I went beyond, because for me, it was like I was in planes sometimes 13, 15 hours. I would travel, I would research, and I would try to make sense with this. So I wrote my first book, and I thought it would be a legacy. It's a client of mine in Panama that told me, Manon, you have so much in your head. Why can't you just put it in a book? So that's what I did. And my first book, I have to say, that was, don't pay attention to the cover. This book, still today, I sold on Amazon, and still today, I believe that this is everything I know. So much knowledge is in that book. And then, of course, the publishing company said, hey, you should publish a second book. So I did one only in French. This one is French and English. And this one called Décoder l'autre with psychology, because, of course, Hippocrates connected the different personality with the character. But my strength is skin. So, of course, everything about skin is in here. So it's all about the educational program. So then I found that in the spas, I wanted to get more attention from the public. So I decided to go host a show at CJD on lifestyle and health and beauty, inviting different doctors. So I did that on the side. Can you imagine? This was Sunday afternoon. This was my Sunday afternoon. Nevertheless, in 2008, I had Madame Devers, just to go backwards, Madame Nelly Devers passed away of age in 2001. And in 2008, I had the opportunity to buy the factory. So in Belgium. So it's like I bought the factory, the brands, the know-how, everything that I was able to have as an accomplishment. So I was so excited. That was in Belgium. So this is like something else. So of course, the laboratory division factory for me was all new. So I learned a lot. And of course, with European laws, you know, people at the factory was there for so long, and they were planning to take retirement. So it's either I take young people to start all over, and then you have a lot of obligation, a lot more obligations than we have here in Canada. So I decided, no. I started to research here in Canada and say, okay, I want to bring back the factory here. I want to transfer technology here. So I started looking, and I discovered Laboratoire Druide. So I don't know if some of you may know it. Sorry, it doesn't. Okay, so I passed the slide. Excuse me for that. So let me go back. So in 1995, I sold, by the way, I sold all my spas. I sold all of them, and my school sold. I stopped teaching at the school and focused in the distribution and research. And then in 2008, we purchased the laboratory Nelly Devers and opened up a spa that would be a flagship, a 6,000 square foot facility in Montreal called Curage, Cure Your Age. That was the concept. So it's a medical spa that's still open today, that I still own, called Curage. So if you ever you want to come in Montreal, please let me know so you can get really great benefits. You're all welcome to come for a skin treatment, a face treatment at 50% off. And we'll pass. So we'll give you something so that you can try. If you're in Montreal, you're all welcome. Just let me know. But nevertheless, in 2013, I said, okay, I want to have the product manufactured here in Canada. So I searched and found somebody, or a manufacturer, sorry, that has the same value as us, which is all organic, it's all natural. And Laboratoire Druide was their philosophy. They're the first laboratory in Canada that was actually producing EcoCert certified organic. So there's a lot of claim that people claim that they're organic, but they're not really verified. Are they true organic? Is there all kinds of GMO chemicals? What is the method of extraction of the plant? Even from one field to another with the winds, if one of them use different chemicals for their growth, maybe it's gonna transfer to the land over. All of that was not verified. When you buy organic or natural, you don't know really what's inside. So organic certified by EcoCert is the largest, most recognized around the world in cosmetic body in France. It's based in France, that actually certify product by product and audit the manufacturer, audit the raw material, audit the packaging if it's recyclable and sustainable. So this for me was so logic. So Laboratoire Druide was like, wow. So I rented space for 3 years in the manufacturer and produced our Nelly the Verst products there. And this is the Druide products. Some of you may have seen it. We're in all the pharmacies and some health food stores, of course. Rachel Berry, if you have Metro IGA in the health food department. We have 146 SKUs in Druide products. And then in 2016, after renting the space, the gentleman that owned the factory wanted to retire. So I decided this is my opportunity. So we purchased the laboratory. So I bought the Laboratoire Druide. So Laboratoire Druide was in the retail world. I was in the spa industry. I was selling to spa and medical spa around the world. So this was all new to me, like all learning all at the same time. But we said, okay, you know, it's interesting to have. And this is how we grew, because, you know, it's complicated. I have many companies, and after a while, so many companies, we decided to put a majority of them under the hat of Derm & Co. So that's how Derm & Co. Came. So we have now a professional division for medical spa market, which we sell Nelly the Verst products. Sorry, I'm looking here. BioLove, Druide BioLove, which is our new baby this year category. And then Method Physiodermie is an import since 1995. It's a Swiss product that we import, and we also do, of course, product development for this brand. Alaska is wax products, and of course, you've probably seen in your supermarket disinfectants. So we sell a lot of disinfectant across Quebec and across North America. And then we have an equipment. Of course, I had to have lasers and IPL, like a turnkey. It's like the Costco of the medical spas, and spas is what I basically opened in 2008. So, and then we have a Europe Lab, a division. So if any one of you would like to start their own brand, we do turnkey with no minimum orders, or we do product development, we create. So we have a team for innovations. Of course, R&D is my thing, and there's always new ingredients that are coming out that are sustainable, that are result oriented. So it's very exciting. So if some of you want to go into skincare, I definitely would love to help you out. So we also sell to the retail market. So the retail market, that's the pharmacy, health food store. We sell at Walmart, some of our division, all these categories. Pure and Pure, we were in the magazine Consumer Protection. Protégez-vous, le magazine Protégez-vous. And, you know, to be selected by this magazine, it's a big thing because they do their own research for anti-allergenic products. And of course, that is sustainable. So that's our retail market. Of course, we do Nelly the Verst organic certified products. We have more than 48 for the professional field, which we're very happy. Our laboratory is in Montreal, in Pointe-Claire. So I kept 2 buildings. So I bought the building here at Laboratoire. I'm at the lab all the time. The Laboratoire in Pointe-Claire. And then our distribution facility is in Ville Saint-Laurent. We have a facility in Toronto and a facility in Vancouver, as well as in New York for distribution. And then we sell, of course, around the world, all these different brands. But the thing is that we are a GMP certified laboratory. So when you want to produce your own brand, you want to make sure that the manufacturer you work with is certified by Health Canada, which, by the way, is the highest standard in manufacturing worldwide. It used to be France and Switzerland, but we became the first rank. So that's why a lot of Chinese people come here and say, okay, I want a made in Canada product. So there's a big opportunity for our products in skincare because of Health Canada rigorous regulations. We have a lot of certification. I'm going to pass on that. So our manufacturing location is in Montreal, here in Pointe-Claire. And as I mentioned, all our distribution network, and our research is worldwide, of course, since COVID. And actually, since the last year, we work a lot with Quebec and Canadian universities. So we work with McGill, we work with the Université du Québec à Chicoutimi and Laval. We still work in Strasbourg in France and different university in the US. But we are, search the new things, innovation, and we try to complot it to be able to get it through the skin to see results. That's what we do on a day-to-day basis. We won many awards around the world. We have 43 licenses in China. We were at the Academy Award. We were selected as the top brands, and we were able to treat the stars. So they invited us in a suite, and we were able to do skin treatments to I'm not sure because they made us sign confidentiality disclosure, but very big personality in Beverly Hills. And that year they chose lifting complex line, which is full of peptides. And of course, that was very big for us. So we got so much visibility. And then last year, for the last 3 years, because of our organic certified category of products, we were published in all these magazines. We have so much review. You could go on our website under nellydeveuse.com to see all of the different articles and publications we've got. So now, if you notice, just a little if you see this, Nelly Deveuse now doesn't have Brussels. Of course, I was debating to put Canada, but nevertheless, we have different categories. So we have one bioscience. We've remodeled, as you can see, all the products. So now the packaging is remodeled. We've invested a lot, and I've learned so much. I've done so many mistakes, if you can only imagine. But anyway, we have this category. We also were very successful with all organic certified 11 products that are anti-aging, that of course are vegan and do not have a GMO, and that have the certifications per license on each and every one. We also have an SPF. We're the only one that has a mineral SPF, translucent, like minerals SPF when it's white when you put it in. When you put it on and it's kind of chalky. Ours is translucent and we have it organic certified. So the cleanest ingredients, of course, no parabens, none of the chemicals, because Ecosa would not accept that. So we feel so excited because, as you know, the corals, our oceans, our lake are actually getting damaged because of the chemicals, which is 98% of all sunscreen in the stores. So this is major. We are not contributing for the environment. We have to buy a product that is an SPF with mineral sunscreen, no matter, even if you don't buy ours. And then we came out last year with a bioacne. So we're the first organic certified anti-acne. So we have dermatologists writing anti-acne products in bioacne, and sending the prescription. So the prescription is sent to the spas. So we innovate in that world, and we're the first that have 6 products anti-acne with the claim anti-acne. When you have a claim in Canada, I don't know if you know, it's regulated by Health Canada. So you cannot claim unless you demonstrate it has efficacy. So we're very excited because it's the first organic one. And BioFemme, which is of course women's wellness. This is more for pH balancing, because we do a lot of research. So we're the first one to define that if you take a litmus paper, a gynecology litmus paper, if ever any one of you would like to have some litmus paper to measure as a woman, just to share it with you 2 seconds. You put that inside the labia minora, so a small lip, you measure your pH. If your pH is between 3.8 and 4.1, you are healthy, and this is so good. But if you're 4.1 and higher, we're the one that actually made that discovery. We know that your body, actually your microbiota, it's called, so the flora of the vaginal flora produces a lot more yeast. We all have yeast, but the problem is when it becomes pathogenic, it's really harmful for you. So it produces endotoxins, neurotoxins, it produces so much bad things that actually has a direct link with Alzheimer. So my mother passed away from Alzheimer. So it's the Candida albicans. Basically, it's that yeast that we all have, that when you have too much in a higher count, it unbalances your pH and it affects your health. Degenerative diseases, bloating, gas, you feel tired all the time. You don't know what's wrong with you. Sometimes it's only related to the yeast that you're actually forming that's pathogenic. So just a little thing on the side, I have a lot of videos you can look on YouTube that explain all of this. So just simply do Nelly Diverse Biofam, or simply go under our channel in YouTube. It's simply DERM, D-E-R-M-E, 8282, and you'll see all the channels and so much education and why, you know, just have a look. Here it is. You could just look and maybe you want to take a picture of this and just go here and take, you know, on that channel, you have so much education, not just product. Obviously, it's all about education. So that's what I do on a regular basis. So of course, and it's free, there's no charge, and I give you everything I know. And for me, it's not about selling product, it's about, in this case with Biofam, and if you have acne, of course, it's about your health because you're not protected. So our equipment division, we sell laser. We have one that's manufactured under our brand. I've learned that over the years. It's made in Israel, this one. Painless, amazing technology, no pain, and you can have your hair removal. It's skin rejuvenation, telangiectasia, like cuprose removal. It's amazing. So that's done in medical spas and spas. And of course, we sell beds and a device for skin evaluation, as you can imagine. We do a lot of training, but our training right now is all dead. Because of COVID. So we do a lot of training online. We personalize it, of course. And the private label, it's called Europlab. That was a company that we kind of merged, as I mentioned earlier. So Europlab is now merged with Laboratoire Druide. So we have one line only strictly that we produce private label for you. So we innovate. We have stock items. We personalize. We do turnkey. So if you want to go into skincare and start selling worldwide to this planet, we definitely have amazing formula that are sustainable, and we can design and develop for you again with no minimum. So just you know, keep in touch. And of course, Alaska has been very popular. This was designed, Alaska, just before COVID. This was designed for our medical spas and spas. Before waxing, they disinfect the surface. And believe it, I just came back from a trip. I was in my God, Paris. We sell a lot to Korea and Japan in skincare. So I was on my tour, and in Paris, we're very lucky that the Four Seasons Hotel on Georges V in Paris, Four Seasons Hotel. We have many Four Seasons Hotel that opened with us just before COVID. But nevertheless, the reason I'm saying that is I got a phone call from my R&D department, regulatory affair department, and said, Manon, we have a disinfectant that we've applied a year ago that just got approved. I'm like, what? Because it takes time. I'm like, what? Disinfectant? He says, this is COVID. Maybe we can sell it to everyone. What do you think? I'm like, oh my God, this was made for the spa industry, was not made for the consumer. So we got our license, which today we can get a license in 3 days. I could produce, we do private label disinfectant. We have a license NPN number for you within 3-4 days. It's very fast. I'm not sure if it's still that this week, but let's say it's fast. So back then it took a year before we got our disinfectant. So you can imagine this, we turned around our business, and of course all our chains was devoted to create Alaska disinfectant. We have a TV show, not a TV show, a commercial going on. We really spent a lot on our Alaska brand. We sell to industry, we sell bulk, we sell in totes. If you're a disinfectant manufacturer right now and you're looking for alcohol, we have a distillery in collaboration that we can also, we purchase many Canadian crop. So we have a corn, Canadian source of alcohol. So Ethyl alcohol is from the corn here, Canadian corn. So we're very proud, and we sign large contracts. So we're not going to be out of alcohol for a long time. So that was a bit stressful, as you can imagine. So that's the Druide division. If you're looking for toothpaste that's organic certified, deodorant, we even have insect repellent that's very popular here in Quebec. And of course, anything to do with outdoor SPF. Our new category is face treatment is Druide BioLove. You could go under Druide BioLove, druidebio.com, and see all of this. Our Cosmos Organic first North American eau de toilette just came out 2 weeks ago. So we're very excited about that. We also have our baby product that is in all the pharmacies, so full line of baby products. Pure is an anti-allergenic product. So if you have cancer patients, if you know cancer people or undergoing radiotherapy or chemotherapy, this is the line that has none of the 60 long list of chemicals. So we went in all the magazines. We're very, very popular with this brand. And it has shampoo, conditioner, soap, hand cream, face cream, you name it. We have an entire skincare body lotion. And these are our, if ever you have a store that you would like to carry our products, please contact me after this presentation. I'll be happy to show you our new display of Druid Biola. And for this presentation today, I thought I would give a little something. So if you go under courage.ca and you would like to purchase Nelly the Verst skincare products, so if you can live the experience and the results, use it on half of your face so you can actually see the results. Because obviously a lot of people claim we have a great vitamin C with hyaluronic acid that's very popular. There's so many products that you can, it's all on the website. You can learn about it if you go on the YouTube. And basically you can try all the Nelly on the courage.ca or druidbio.com. Anything that you see in Druid, which is Druid Biolove, outside, outdoors, insect repellent, you name it, you have a 20%. I hope this was not too long, eh? Sorry. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so open for questions. I mean, when Claire asked me to give a little feedback of what I do and so on, I am there to help the next generation. I would like to help you if you're looking to start a new business. I think I've made so many, I work at, I taught at the HSC Montreal University on how many times can you fail in a career. I think, you name it, in each I think I could give a course. And I think I fail in everyone, and I still fall. I still I learn. As I always remember the brow. You don't do that twice. If you can get advice so you don't fail. I didn't have those professional. I didn't have those people that I could really inspire myself with. So I feel that I'm still learning today, and I'm sure I could learn from you. But I'm just saying that life is not easy, and all of this looks a lot of glamours. People, when they would see me traveling 6 months in a year, I usually travel. Where are you? You're in Japan, you're this, you're that. Oh, wow. Yeah, I see airport, I see a flight, and I see the place, the business office that I meet the person with. Now it's nice with Zoom. I don't travel. I have a quality of life. I'm so happy for that. I don't miss that too much, and do 36 trade shows a year. So it was a bit too much. So now it's all virtual. It gives me a break, but nothing is easy. And, when you look at someone and say, oh my God, there's so much success, I'm sure there's pain that goes with it, unfortunately. But be persistent. And by the way, I would have never accomplished, and normally I have a picture, but I had a little technical problem this morning. I would never have made it if it wasn't for the lady that took care of my children, that is still with us today after 29 years. She was the mother of my children. I was able to travel the world and do everything I was able to do. Without her, I would have not made it possible. So it's something. I mean, it's something that I would like to say that life is not without any sacrifice. I mean, success is not without making any sacrifices. But I would love to answer any of your questions, or maybe if it's not related or anything, please.
Thank you so much, Manon. It was it's an amazing story. It's so inspiring.
Thank you.
It means it tells us that everything is possible when you have the passion and the energy and the willingness. It's just, yes, very amazing. So yes, any question from the participants? You can just unmute yourself and ask your question to Manon.
I have a question.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of beauty products are, I don't think it really matters if I get Neutrogena or something that's super expensive, because I don't really tend to see results. Can you explain why that is?
Well, that's a very good question. I have to say that I would not like to be in your position, or any consumer position, I should say, not just yours, but to find a product today, because 98%, I'm going to be generous, 95% of skincare products is pretty much all the same. meaning you have, water and oil or oil and water with different essence. Could be essential oils, could be natural ingredients or plants, or it could be hyaluronic acid or peptides, or it could be whatever. And that's about it. And there may be traces of it or there's not a real comprehensive formulations. So I have to say it's hard to find a good product, and dermatologists are right when they say, all products are the same. It's true, because I'll say 95% of products are all the same. So it depends on the scent and so on. So it's confusing. I say today, within the technology that exists, and I'm not just saying Nelly Diverse because of course I would like to sell you Nelly, I would like to sell you Druid Biolove, but I have to say, if you don't see results, honestly, if you don't see results after you apply, I'd like to be aggressive and say after one application, but I'll because depending on the skin, I will protect myself by saying 10 days. Do half of your face and 10 days. If you don't see results, then you should change brands. As simple as that. Now, you may have a lot of allergenic, allergies or intolerance to different things. Let's say you cannot take. So this would be the only exception. 99% of people don't have these problems. They just want a good treatment cream or moisturizer. A good, small regimen has to be simple and effective. So, of course, I would say that, of course, we're part of those that in Druid Biolove. So you have two categories of prices. Why choose Nelly versus Druid Biolove as an example? There is a price difference. So there's different technologies that are used and different complexity of ingredients. We use a diadermic methodology in one, not in the other. So it's different, but do you see results? Absolutely. So I would love to encourage you, and I don't want to talk about any of the cosmetics. There's so many, there's 100 brands coming out with new claims per day in North America. Well, I don't know before COVID. This was before COVID. So 100 brands coming out with new claims saying that they have the fountain of youth, DNA from sperm of salmon, this essential oils and this and that. There's so much, it's crazy. But what makes you try a product? First of all, you need to know who's manufacturing it. That would be my first advice. Who's manufacturing it? And more importantly, try on half of your face. And if you don't see some type of changes, change it. Don't keep it.
And what are your thoughts on, like, what is it, microabrasion?
Microencapsulation, yes. You don't want to have nanoparticles in a skincare cosmetic just because we don't know the impact on the human body system. But the microencapsulations, doesn't matter which type. So there's different types of microencapsulation. It's like a delivery system. Part of the 5%, they will have that kind of method to reach what we call the basal germinative layers where your cells are living. Because dead cells, you put any cream on, it's going to lubricate. So you'll feel like lubricant. And it's good because it's a good thing to keep moisture. So the hydrolipidic factor is in balance. Not to make it complicated. What we want to do is have that kind of a protection, I'll call it. But what we want, but those are dead cells. So we want to go a little beyond where cells are living so that we can transform the skin and see a difference. So I don't want to talk bad because maybe in some of the viewers of this presentation, there may be representing a skincare, and I don't want to say only Nelly Diverse works here. A lot of great brands are efficient, but if I'm a consumer, I want to test. I don't want to hear about the clinicals because I've seen clinicals that are false. So I like to test on real skin. Take photos. My God, with our phone today, we'll take a photo before and after and see if there's going to be a change, because it's true that sometimes we could forget.
Any other?
So I tend to ask a lot of questions. I'm going to stop, and then if nobody asks questions, I'll keep going.
Okay.
Eve? No.
J'en aurais une. Wow, tu es vraiment très inspirante. C'est amazing tout ce que tu as pu accomplir dans ta vie. J'irais plus parce que je suis psychologue. Puis juste à t'entendre, je suis comme essoufflée. Je me dis, comment est-ce que, puis peut-être t'en as déjà fait deux, mais comment tu fais pour pas faire un épuisement professionnel? Comment tu fais pour pas faire un burn-out? Comment tu fais pour dormir? Comment tu fais pour avoir un équilibre? Puis garder une bonne santé mentale quand tu as autant de travail à faire?
Oui. J'avoue que ça a l'air, effectivement, c'est très intense. Tu sais, là, c'est tout apparent, comme tout est beau, mais tu sais, en dedans, comme on peut imaginer, on vit beaucoup de stress. Alors moi, ma façon d'éliminer mon stress, c'est la natation l'été. Moi, le matin, là, avant que le soleil se lève, je suis dans la piscine. Puis c'est pas pour, tu sais, j'ai besoin d'exercice, là, c'est sûr, mais tu sais, c'est juste pour me libérer un peu. Fait que l'été, j'ai ça. L'hiver, je fais des séances de yoga. Puis je suis une personne ce qui m'a aidée dans ma vie, c'est que je suis très transparente. Moi, quand ça va pas, je le dis tout de suite, j'amène pas ça à la maison. Alors, c'est important. Moi, je dirais, si j'avais un message à dire, c'est de ne pas accumuler. Il y a quelque chose qui ne va pas, on le traite, on ne l'accumule pas. Parce que ce qui ne va pas, les négatifs, puis il peut y en avoir des feux dans une journée, on le sait, c'est que tout de suite, il faut s'occuper de ce feu-là pour que le soir, on arrive et on dort bien. Et l'autre secret, c'est que je prends la mélatonine. Dans des périodes plus intenses, mélatonine. Mais bon, parce qu'il n'y a rien de parfait, là, puis je ne peux pas dire que... c'est sûr que je n'ai pas d'équilibre au vu de ce qui me manque le plus, c'est mes enfants. Fait que là où je me sens le plus coupable, puis voyez-vous, j'ai 29, 28, 27 et 18 ans. Puis je trouve que je ne les ai pas vus, fait que c'est comme des amis. Fait que ça me tire. Je pense que c'est ça qui me tire le plus. Le reste, j'essaie de traiter ça au day-to-day pour que tout le monde autour de moi soit content. Parce que pour moi, je me dis, on a juste une vie à vivre. Si on arrive puis on est stressé, puis quand c'est toxique, quand vous voyez qu'il y a une personne autour de vous qui est toujours négative, qui est toujours en train de se plaindre, qui est toujours... Moi, ces gens-là, il faut les éliminer. Je m'excuse, mais moi, j'ai besoin de me ressourcer de gens positifs. Alors, tu sais, des gens qui trouvent des solutions, puis qui ne se plaignent pas, qui s'entreprennent, qui s'assument. Fait que moi, c'est ça que j'aime m'entourer d'eux. Alors, les autres, des fois, on ne se réalise pas. Moi, quand j'avais des spas, j'avais des gens qui étaient un petit peu comme ça, qu'on appelle souvent toxiques. Fait que ça, là, c'est lourd. Là. Puis là, à un moment donné, les cheveux ils deviennent gris, puis tu manges tes émotions. Là. Fait que j'ai appris à essayer de, justement, éliminer ça ou les rendre heureux ou travailler sur leur cas. Parce qu'il y a des gens qui sont... On ne peut pas les changer. Ils sont peut-être dans l'entreprise depuis des années. On leur trouve des moyens pour les rendre heureux. Puis eux-mêmes travailler sur le caractère en psycho.
Wow.
So how does that affect your hiring process then?
Oh, it's not, first of all, that's a very good question. So when we do hire, one thing I would also advise is the competence is important, but the attitude is better. Is more important to me. So if I have a tendency to book an interview very early in the morning. If they don't show up, that gives you a sign. And then if I ask you to work on the weekends, if I ask you to stay at night, do you mind? Well, what for? You know, like you start to see the character, you know? So I ask questions like that are more personal and try. And of course I make mistakes and I still make mistakes, but competence is important, but very much attitude. So try to, it's not easy, right?
Yeah, no.
I have all the recipes, but no, it's not easy.
That's very helpful.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
So if you were to suggest I'm going to ask, does somebody else want to ask a question? Because like I said, I ask a lot of questions. If you were to suggest a regime for anti-aging, aside from just buying your products, what would it be?
Well, first of all, if you read my book, I think you will enjoy, not that I make any royalty on it, just so you know, I don't make any royalty. That's another thing at the time. Anyway, so water. So of course, drink at least 1.5 liters of water per day. If you can, just do, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of fast walking. Do some kind of exercise, it would be great. Those are key elements, and try to stay away from sugar or yeast, products that are left over, meat or processed food, things we all know. But those are the basic. Try to eat more antioxidants. That's the inside out. Now, as far as the regimen on the skin, if you can, a good cleanser, you don't have to have two, like, we teach two, like a milk and then a foaming cleanser because it's deep cleanse. But if you have a tendency to have oiliness or greasy skin or acne, then use a foaming cleanser. Try to have the foaming cleanser that has prebiotics, so it feeds the good bacteria for you. And cleanse 2-3 times a day. And then a moisturizer, a treatment cream that will also bring those elements and hydration. And besides, whatever, if you're old or if you have sensitive skin, address certain condition. more importantly, exfoliate once a week. Our skin, when we're stressed as entrepreneurs, we are stressed out. So if we don't exfoliate at least once a week, our skin becomes stagnant. And if it's stagnant, that's how age, ROS, we call it, free radical, reactive oxygen species, takes place. So we need to prevent that. So you can use a facial brush. So in Nelly, we have a boar bristles. You can find one anywhere, not silk, boar bristles. And counterclockwise, just one time, once a day if you can, with the cleanser. That'd be amazing. So those are a small step that doesn't really cost much. And that's it. That's all you need.
What about it's called abrasion?
Oh, microdermabrasion. Yeah, so if you don't do on a regular basis, like once a week, your exfoliant at home, and try to not use grains that's going to hurt your skin. If you're getting it hurt, then it's not good for you. So keeping skin, we have to keep the integrity of the skin, because if our skin is not healthy, what happens is that intruders like viruses and bacteria gets in. So that's why we have to keep healthy skin. If you have acne, it's not healthy. If you have impurities, it's not healthy. So to go back on microdermabrasion, usually in the fall and the spring, if you have healthy skin, it's a good thing to do a microdermabrasion. And if you don't do exfoliant once a week, then you should ask your esthetician to do a microdermabrasion on a regular basis. But if you have a skin that turns red easily, so if you flush and blush easily, it's not for you. In other words, you don't need to do microdermabrasion. So I know it sounds great. You could do microdermabrasion everywhere it's not turning red. In other words, so if I eat spicy food and I flush, all these areas should not be microdermabrated. Why? So microdermabrasion is like a form of mechanic exfoliation. So because it's a mechanic exfoliation, on these skin that are red or sensitive, we say sensitive, but it's a flushy red skin with telangiectasia, like little spider veins on the face. If these clients' skin start to do a microdermabrasion, usually they're so rich in the dermis tissue, they don't need anti-wrinkle products, as a matter of fact. They don't age that fast. That's a great thing. The bad thing is that they don't have much epidermal structure. There's nothing to exfoliate, basically, or very little. So it's not recommended. If you have a red skin or sensitive skin, do not. Okay, if an esthetician hears me, they're gonna say, Manon, you know, what about the neck? It's okay, everywhere that's not red.
Thank you, Manon. Sylvie wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, Manon, I had a question for you. My name is Sylvie, and I own a small-scale manufacturing business, and what we produce are natural lip balms. And it's the only thing we produce, and I'm comfortable doing that. But my customers have been asking a lot about a product with sunscreen, which is a whole different realm for me that I'm not comfortable producing. So I was wondering if that's something that your facility is able to produce, and if you have any tips, because yeah, it's a whole different can of worms for me that I've been getting so many requests that I think I should start looking into it.
Yeah,
but
so the best advice I would have is have a contract manufacturer, people like us, to produce your SPF for lips. So you need to look for a NPN certified by Health Canada GMP manufacturer. Those are the only one that can produce an SPF in Canada. Now, if you want to sell it also to the do you sell to the United States?
I do.
You do? Okay. So what you need to know quickly, you can call me since it's particular, you can call me after this session, I could guide you or have our team guide you. And that's another thing, because we're amongst women, another secret is I sound great because I'm the spokesperson, but really I am nobody without my team. And we have people working for us 30 years now. 25 years, a lot of them. So without them, I would not be where I am today. So my babysitter, the lady that helped me through this my whole life, and my team, manufacturing, R&D, accounting, oh my God, distribution, sales, like a private label division, a Druid division. Without all of them, I want to say, in logistics, we have many warehouses. I don't know where I would be. So I've taken a lot of credits, but thank you to my team, because if ever this becomes it's public information, I want to say thank you to my team, because really you make me look good here. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. So what was I saying? Whoops.
Oh, we're talking about
sunscreen. Oh yeah, sunscreen. Sunscreen,
NPN certified, yeah.
Yeah, so the advice I would do, please come and see Europe Lab division. Through Derm, but An SPF in Canada will cost you to register it under your brand, unless you take an SPF that's existing with their own NPN, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. The same thing for FDA. That's regulatory affairs that we prepare the documentation for you under your brand for these countries. But as simple as that. Otherwise, if you want to do it yourself, what you could do is the first stages, meaning the recipe, the formulation. Make sure that you test. We have the obligation to test with Health Canada to prove that this is really, if you want to claim SPF 15, or if it's an SPF 8 or 20 or 30, you need to prove it. So these we call them a challenge test or efficacy test, will go anywhere. For an SPF to give you under your own brand, your own name, that you own the NPN, just the test for the formulation is $5,500.
Okay.
So, and that includes, if you, that does not include the permeability. If you go in the water, water resistance is another $500. But after that, that's it. You proved it. It's yours.
Okay.
Or you come to people like us that have formulas that you don't need to pay that are already tested. So you don't have to pay that $5,500, and when we help you with your brand and so on. So this one, I would have it manufactured.
And for when you say an existing formula, would it be an existing formula, like the formulation for the lip balm with the sunscreen in it already, or just the sunscreen that can be added to the formula that I choose? Like for the lip balm base can be.
Yeah, so we have many base formulation that have been proven. So then we adapt it. Some people want hyaluronic acid. So we have different formulation to propose to you that are proprietary to you. We don't produce the same formulation again for somebody else. And so you choose, you're part of the development and the testing, what you like, what you don't like, the smell, the taste, the da-da-da.
Perfect. And what are the minimums like? I think that's what makes me a little nervous, because my customers will say, oh, we want this. But I think like if I sell 500 of them, that's not good enough. I need to sell quite a few, but I'm curious what the minimum is to get into that market.
Yes, so we have one division that you have no minimum, but that formula is that formula. You have to take that one. And then we have the other division that if it's personalized, only belongs to you. We don't produce it to nobody else, and that's 1,500 units per order.
Okay.
That's it.
Perfect.
Well, so either no minimum or 1,500.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Hopefully we'll work together.
That would be great.
I'd love to come to New Brunswick. I came so long ago. I would love, this COVID also made me realize that I'm missing out on my own country. I go everywhere else and it's crazy. Here it is. So hopefully I have an opportunity to come and visit.
We'll be glad to welcome you here.
Yes.
Another
I'm sorry, I just have one question. I do like to know, do you think that your success story is still possible now? I mean, when I say now, it's concerning this crazy world with a lot of competitors. And if yes, what tools or skills do we have to have for have this success in this year or next year, depends, but in this moment?
I think, honestly, I would say yes, to answer your question. It is very possible. There's people that are becoming rich now because of COVID, depending on which market or niche you're trying to achieve. But what is it that they do that I see that they do different? Honestly, I would say it's everything about automatization and platforms, everything to do with e-commerce, everything to do with social media and optimization. So everything that your SEO, you have to be on the ball. So if you can have a partner or relation or a consultant that really can help you develop that strategy, then the world is yours. We still have connections. Singapore, my God, recently, Korea, we sold to Vietnam. I thought this would be dead. And these are orders coming in now. I thought, oh my God, we're only going to sell to Canada because we have to be sustainable and nobody wants to cross borders. The world is big and we have a very big competitive edge. So the only thing that we need to work more at, if you don't have the skills, you have to get the skills or figure it out so that you can see and optimize and put a lot more money in marketing. The success is marketing than anything else. So be careful with your cost and your cash, how it's going to be spent. Spend it in all these social media and all these those opportunity or platform opportunities like Shopify and Magento, for example.
Okay, good, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup, Manon. Vraiment, ta présentation était super inspirante. Ma question, c'est pour Sylvie. C'est quoi le nom de ta compagnie?
Moi, c'est Eclair Lips. Puis, ouais, on est ici à Moncton, à Dieppe, pour préciser.
Any other question? I had just one. I'm curious about that because the purchase of Nelly DeVust laboratories was a real boost for you in Europe, but were you already selling abroad and especially in Europe, for example, and how?
Oh, so you mean, how did I start selling? So when we became a Canadian company, when I transferred the technology in Canada, Montreal, it was a big challenge. And of course, at that time, I redid all the packaging. So it was a very big challenge because I really updated the formulas. I'm always changing. So when I don't like something that I know that there's better, I change it. That's my negative. So that cost. You know, I'm the spending department. I always say, stop it already. Like, you just launched this one last year. I'm like, yeah, but we have something better now. So that's my weakness. So I have to say what costs the most in cosmetics is regulatory affairs. So you have to calculate when you go, for example, to the United Europe, you have to calculate to be prepared, to have a dossier that is ready to sell and export to these countries. And that was the biggest challenge. So you have to calculate, you know, when you found a good how to do it, then it's about $1,500 to $3,000 per file for the testings and the registration steps for Europe. After that, you have the entire Europe. But the way I started is to set up a facility in France, in Bordeaux, and we have inventory, and then we do distribution and sell directly to consumers. And in Belgium, it was different. It's through a doctor there that loves Nelly DeVust and start to talk about it without having it. Just talk and say he uses it and it's the best product. So some pharmacies contacted us.
She was your sales agent in all Belgium?
No, I don't have any sales agent. I mean, you could also go that way. You know, be part of a different group trade mission. Yeah. Also, I would highly recommend for you to connect and network with some of your trade mission from Canada, also from, from your territory, sometimes the city of the Chamber of Commerce that goes in different trade missions. That also helped making different connections. And of course, for me, it was Réseau des Femmes d'Affaires, the REFAC, gave me a lot of connections as well. Also, I would like to say another opportunity that I'd like to share is We Connect International. You guys are, I'm sure, definitely join this. If you can be certified as a company, you have also great opportunities.
How did you change your marketing when COVID hit? Did you do a big flip over to digital and e-commerce sales funnels?
So that was a big challenge for me. That's a good question. Like Nelly DeVust is sold to spas only. We never accept a retail online. So we make our spas sign agreement that they will not sell online. And then COVID comes. Yeah. So then we worked really hard. So what we did is that we open up a platform. We create affiliated programs for our clients to sell through that platform. So while they're in the comfort of their homes, they could actually promote on their social media. And when the client or consumers goes on that link, it falls on their account and they make the money. So we create the logistic, more like the drop ship for them. And now if you go under nellydevust.com, we sell, but you have to choose the spa. So we don't sell direct out of respect to them because that was always our values for Nelly DeVust. Druid is different. It's sold retail. It's sold to distribution, and it was always online already before I made the acquisition in 2016. So we continue that. So that is direct to market.
What is the continuity for your direct to market products on the international side? You said that you get a lot of support from you build a lot of relationships and trust by going on trade missions. And then if you actually connect that on a higher level with your digital media push, which I'm assuming must have increased at least somewhat during COVID, how do those two work together?
I think it's great, but in cosmetics, at least for that particular trade, it's a little bit more complicated because if the country does not, I mean, if the product has not been registered in that country, then we cannot sell. So no matter how much promotions and publicities, we go network, we go viral in social media and so on, we can't sell. So now our strategies was to develop some warehousing in local markets. But, you know, I find that it's great to go to Europe, but next door, I mean, Canada, US were so easy. So when we develop products for clients, we already register them in the US, and that's included in the price, unless it's a claim or NPN like sunscreens. So we do, you know, they have to pay a fee, one-time fee. But otherwise, Canada and US, you know, 51% of my business is in the United States. Now, some of you will think because of COVID, there's a lot of closures because of COVID right now. And I have to say, we've been very fortunate because of that platform that we've allowed ourselves. So our sales, you know, increased by 30% in these particular market where before normally we wouldn't have any opportunity. So because we make it accessible and we work with PR agencies, we work into creating that demand towards our website. And we have a warehouse in Plattsburgh, New York, in which we serve all of the United States from that warehouse.
So were your primary media buys on Facebook or?
With different Facebook, Instagram, I would say a little bit more different links, you know, and then links through affiliated programs. So Instagram, Facebook, media, meaning media coverage. So if a Cosmopolitan talks about it, they'll pass a link and then we sell. And throughout our, you know, medical spas, doctor's office and spas, and their own network and their own social media.
Interesting. Thank you.
But it was not easy because of, you know, we had to change and turn around and provide training, because normally on the Nelly Diverse side, we have a lot of training. So we did all those trainings available. Like today, you as a consumer, let's say you're not an esthetician or a medical doctor, you can go on our on our YouTube channel and find every training. You don't even need to have us. All the training is there. We worked hard and we spent a lot of money. Yeah.
I'm sure. Media isn't cheap.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Manon. I think we will let you go. Thank you for your time. You gave us a lot of so valuable information.
Thank you. And if any one of you, my direct email is Manon. So my first name, Manon, is MANON @ think of the skin. So derm, DRME, derm.ca. So derm in French, derme.ca for Canada. So this is my direct email if anyone have a question or needs something. And if I don't answer within 24 hours, then send it with a question mark, something has happened. My assistant's coming back from the stay on Monday. I cannot wait for her to come back. He's like, but thank you so much and good luck to all of you. I hope it was helpful, but if you need, again, anything, let me know. And thank you, Claire, for this opportunity.
Merci, bonne journée.
Merci beaucoup. Bonne journée. Bye.
Bye.